Today we're diving into something pretty profound, a real spiritual puzzle from the Lotus Sutra. It's called the Buddhist Compassionate Concealment, and believe me, it completely challenges how we think about spiritual guidance, about presence, and really about our own part to play in all of this.
So let's just get right to it. Have you ever wondered about this? I mean, really thought about it? If there's this path to genuine peace and wisdom, why does it feel so hidden? Why isn't there just a giant glowing signpost pointing the way in the middle of all this chaos? It's a question that I think a lot of us have wrestled with.
It's such a human thing to want, isn't it? To just wish for someone with all the answers to show up, tell us what to do, and, maybe clean up the mess a little while they're at it. We have this idea that if a being like that were just here, we'd all finally get it right, and the world would snap into shape.
But here's the thing. Let's get a little reality check from history. The source material for this points out that even when the Buddha was alive, walking around and teaching for decades, it wasn't some magic fix. Not everyone was lining up to listen. In fact, some people were actively hostile towards him. So that tells you right there that just having a physical presence, well, it's not the automatic solution we think it is.
So if having a guide right in front of us isn't the whole answer, then what is going on? Well, for a clue, we're going to look at a really important Mahayana Buddhist text, the Lotus Sutra, and it gives an explanation that is, well, it's completely counterintuitive. It's a surprising answer for why enlightenment can feel so hard to find.
And this is where it gets really interesting. At the heart of this whole mystery is this one verse. The Buddha says, "I say that I pass away, even though I shall not." Just let that sink in for a second. He's basically saying, I only appear to be gone, but I'm not, really. And that, of course, raises a massive question.
And that's the big question, right? Why? If the whole point is to help everyone, why would you pretend to be gone? It seems like a total contradiction. But according to the sutra, this very absence, this concealment, is actually an incredibly profound and necessary teaching tool.
Okay, so the core idea the Buddha's getting at here is what you could call the danger of overfamiliarity. The teaching is that if you are always here, always visible, always available, we just get used to it. We take it for granted, and paradoxically, that would actually be terrible for our spiritual growth.
And the sutra is super specific about how this goes wrong. It lays out this recipe for spiritual disaster. It starts with number 1, always see me. Constantly having that presence around leads straight to number 2, we become arrogant and licentious. Basically, we get spiritually lazy and reckless. From there, we start to cling to the 5 desires. We just get totally caught up in the endless chase for pleasant sights, sounds, tastes, and all that. And the final step on that downward spiral, we fall into evil regions. It's a pretty stark warning about taking things for granted.
So here's the big pivot, the crucial point. This whole thing reframes the entire problem. The issue isn't that the Buddha is gone, that he abandoned us. The issue is us. It's our own human tendencies and how we would totally misuse a constant, obvious spiritual guide. The concealment? It's actually an act of compassion, designed to work with our limitations, not against them.
And this just brilliantly shows that massive shift in perspective. Our default misconception is the Buddha is absent, so the world is spiritually empty. But the sutra flips that completely. It teaches us his presence is just concealed, and that transforms the world from this empty, abandoned place into an opportunity, a place for us to actually seek, to go on a search, and discover that presence for ourselves.
Okay, that sounds great, but how do we actually do that? How do we find what's been hidden? Well, the teaching doesn't just leave us with the puzzle. It also gives us the key, and it all boils down to one single powerful action, a total shift in how we approach our own lives.
And here it is. This is the whole thing, right here. The way we find that presence is by not taking our lives and this world for granted. It's that simple and that profound. It's about genuine appreciation. It's about paying attention. It's about realizing how precious all of this is. The moment we stop sleepwalking and start actively looking for meaning, that's when the concealed starts to reveal itself.
And that leaves us with a really profound personal challenge. This teaching from the Lotus Sutra turns spiritual presence from something we just passively wait for into something we have to actively go out and discover. So the final question isn't, where is the Buddha? The question is actually for us. If this presence is out there waiting to be found, where are you going to start looking?